Thank you, David, for the introduction. When I looked in the mirror this morning, I thought maybe building bridges is a nice way of saying she can't make a decision for either side. I'm here from Intel Ignite's accelerator program. We accelerate deep tech startups. Deep tech startups are startups that emanate from frontier technology. So usually we joke that the teams that we work with have more PhDs on their teams than team members. I'm going to take you through that journey from the lab to the market, the journey that we accompany our startups on. And I'm taking you with me on that journey because we need you all on that journey. It's not us who can make the startup successful on their own. And to do that, we're going to start the journey way, way back. One of those first memories that you had when you thought that your own family was completely normal. Can you remember that? That time before you'd had a sleepover at someone else's house, and you thought, my family's completely normal, everybody else's family probably functions exactly the same way as mine does. There we go. Oh, that's not my family. That's the ABC sitcom Roseanne, if any of you are missing the source. It's kind of what it's like for people in the lab, in the research institutes and the universities, what they feel like when they're in their lab and they're going through their research and they're getting better at it and more precise and deeper and deeper and deeper. It's comfortable in inverted commas. They know the space, they know the rules, they know how irritating their peers are, they know how to get appreciation from their peers, they know how to rile them up. And getting out of that lab and into the market is kind of like taking a spaceship and going to a new planet. It's strange out there, and there are a lot of weird creatures. Why would you do that? There are not only a few weird creatures, there are a lot of them. And they think you're the odd one out, you think they're the odd ones out. So what I'm going to do today is take you on that journey of why researchers should still do it. I think we've heard many different reasons and arguments from all of my previous speakers on why it's definitely necessary. I'm going to take you a little bit into the journey of how to do it, although that is a huge, big chapter, and also who you need to bring along that ride with you. Okay, so why? Why get out? Why get out of the lab? Why get out of the lab and dive into that strange planet? Well, first reason is we need it. We need a new labor force. We need people who are able to overcome the gap that we will be having in the coming years, who will be able to come up with new automations that can bridge the fact that we don't have a labor force that will be able to take over all the tasks we have now. It's the famous old Fachkräftemangel discussion that we've heard over and over again today. So to be able to maintain our quality of life and improve it, we need more solutions. There's also another reason. It pays off. It pays off for deep tech teams. There is a monetary reason. It takes longer, but at the end of the day, there is a success factor, which is quite risky. But if you go on that journey and you get help, it can pay off multifold. We also need some solutions to save our planet. We can do some changes to our lifestyle, we can use existing technology, we can improve the existing technology, but we also need radically new technology. And that's where deep tech comes in. This is a little garden shed, because in our minds, in the 80s, the 70s, the 80s, the deep tech startups of back then were founded in people's garages, in people's sheds, in their yards. They're not today. They're founded in the RWTH Aachens and the TU Munichs and the UCLs and the Stanfords of this world, and we really need to make sure that we can bridge that gap from the lab into the market. Okay, now how? How to get out? That's a tough one. First of all, and this is, I can't see Mr. Sattelberger, but there we go. Negotiate well. You've heard it today. Universities take large shares. They take large shares of companies that want to spin out. They take large shares of equity. And that, along the line, eats into your company more and more and more. We call it dead equity. Why is it dead equity? Because the university doesn't do anything more for your company. They don't reinvest in a subsequent round, and they're not active members of the startup. They don't actually build the company, and they don't fund the company further. So it's just a chunk that is in there that you can't really use. The same goes for all the other people who want to participate. So when you're founding a startup, make sure that in that very early stage, when you have someone who helps you, provides those first 10K, your neighbor, your dentist, your uncle or aunt, they need to get small percentages. And there's a lot of data out there. You can find it. Advisors should get less than 0%, because along the way, your own shares as founders get diluted and diluted and diluted, and you are at the bottom of the funnel when it comes to payouts. So when everyone else gets paid, has been paid, that's when the founders get paid. So this is something that you need to think about right at the beginning. A little more on that. Try and avoid having too complicated cap tables. That means having too many people in, someone with too much equity, a lot of different people that you all have to deal with every time you go through a board meeting and you have to call 20 people. There are solutions out there. I'm going to leave this with you just as an idea that you can always look up on when you start your company, and you can get a lot of advice on it. But think about it, because these are the kinds of things that bite you in the backside later on. Then you need to build a good team. That's really, really, really hard. We run a program with 10 teams that we source every half a year. They're deep tech teams from all over Europe. And this quote is actually taken from yesterday's session that we were running with the VP People at Marvel Fusion. That's quite a mature deep tech startup in Munich. And we were doing a session on how to recruit niche talent. It's a huge topic for our startups. One is building an analog quantum computer. The other one is building, what are they called? Photonic processors. Optical processors. The people they're looking for, they can probably count on a couple of hands. Those people also can get offers from any company around the world. So it's really hard to find them. Then, of course, you've got these quantum physicists who are trying to do business development and sales and negotiate an energy contract and a Wi-Fi contract. And they've got to make sure that everyone has a team building workshop at the end of the year. And they've got to fire people. There are so many different topics. That's why I left you with one slide on this, because, you know, it's huge. And for that, you need help. You need help. No one goes from the lab into the market and says, okay, now here I am as a researcher, tomorrow I'm a CEO. You need to make an enormous mindset change. You need to want that, and you need help along the way. One of the main reasons why startups fail, and startups fail a lot, I also don't want to glorify that, is that they don't understand the market. They don't ask the market. They think that they've got an amazing technology. The market has said that they need technologies in that space, but do they need that product, And are they going to buy it? This is a team from Munich. They're called ProGlove. This is when they were starting out. This is when they were still at the university years ago, trying out different iterations of their product. And it's a little bit ironic because if you look very closely at this picture, it's got Intel there in the back. Because Intel sponsored their very humble beginnings when they were still deciding what to do. And Intel gave them a large sum of money to develop a deep tech product. So what did they do? They developed a very smart glove for industrial automation. They put a temperature sensor in this. We're talking like 2014 here. They put a distance measurement in it. They put a scanner in it. They put everything they could find into this glove. That's what got them the Intel funding. And then they went out to the customers. They went out to the shop floor at BMW, to the assembly floor, and said, what do you guys actually need? And they said, well, we really don't like this bulky scanner. Can you do something about that? So they built a company around a glove that contains a scanner on the back of the hand. That's it. That's their product. And they exited their company for $500 million last year. The founders now help our teams on finding product market fit. They help them on simplifying, on asking those questions, on going back and again and again and again to make sure that they get the answers on what the customers would actually pay for. And then, who do you need? You need a village. This is a village. At Intel Ignite, we have different villages across the globe, and our villages are just part of broader villages. We need everyone to help. This is our batch that we're currently working with. About 1/3 of the people in this picture are the actual startups. All the rest are mentors, VCs, supporters, experts, and that's only from the first week. We do this for 12 weeks. A couple of statistics about us, but I know I'm out of time. I can see a number flashing at me, so not only you can see numbers flashing at you. This is also more about our village, the people that we've drawn in. We've got a lot of Intel mentors who help the teams on their tech. We leave Intel people out of company building because they know nothing about that. That's another thing. Never trust a corporate person who tells you that they know how to run a company. They don't. Ask someone else who's done it before. And yeah, I would say I hope that this village continues to support founders, and I hope that you all join me on that journey to working. Didn't want to go? Okay. With all the strange creatures in the market. Thank you.